Welcome to the world of football's most baffling rules. 1. The Offside Rule. Back in 1863, under the original FA laws, any attacker who stepped ahead of the ball was immediately offside. No excuses, no margins. Defenses reacted by parking entire walls of players behind the ball, creating a sport that resembled more of a chess match than a free-flowing spectacle. Matches often ended 0-0, and the public clamored for excitement. In 1866, the introduction of the three-player rule allowed attackers to stand in front of the ball so long as three defenders lay between them and the goal. Yet even this compromise faced resistance. Clubs like Sheffield FC voted against it, fearing it would nullify the defensive purity of the original game. Fast forward to 1925, and the law transformed again, requiring only two defenders to keep an attacker onside. The English Football League reluctantly approved the change, only after a fierce campaign by the Scottish FA, who had long argued that reducing offside calls would enliven matches. Indeed, the very next season saw average goals per game leap from 2.5 to 3.5, prompting managers like Herbert Chapman of Arsenal to call it the greatest single reform in football history. Even so, some traditionalists, notably Preston North End's coach William Sudell, denounced it as a betrayal of the sport's integrity. In today's era of VAR and semi-automated offside technology, high-speed cameras capture every moving pixel, yet controversies persist. When Harry Kane was ruled offside by just 2 centimeters against Manchester City in 2023, Spurs fans staged a sit-down protest on the Wembley turf. Former striker Inderjit Singh lamented, "It's a technicality, not the spirit of the game." Top leagues still average about 2.3 offsides per match, each one capable of overturning celebrations and inflaming social media wars. 2. The back pass rule. Before 1992, defenders could nonchalantly hoof the ball back to their own goalkeeper, who would pick it up and hold onto it for as long as they liked. International tournaments like the 1990 World Cup in Italy endured a torrent of sterile, goalless draws as teams like Cameroon and Costa Rica exploited the tactic to secure low-scoring upsets. Broadcasters and fans alike decried the spectacle as boring beyond belief, and FIFA's leadership faced mounting pressure to act. At the 1992 Summer Olympics in Barcelona, IFAB drew a line in the sand. From that moment on, any deliberate back pass by a teammate meant the goalkeeper could no longer handle the ball. They had to play it with their feet. Italy's U23 keeper Gianluca Pagliuca found himself penalized within the first 5 minutes of their opening match, gifting Portugal an indirect free kick that curled into the net. Serie A clubs initially revolted. AC Milan's defense coach Fabio Capello branded the rule an unnecessary disruption, while Juventus players complained that the new requirement turned keepers into outfield strugglers. Yet, the reform achieved its goal. Matches opened up, and ball-playing sweeper keepers like Peter Schmeichel and later Manuel Neuer revolutionized how teams built attacks from the back. Goals per game in major international tournaments climbed by almost 0.5, and by 1997, IFAB extended the rule to include throw-ins. Some purists still grumble. Indeed, in 2018, Chelsea's Antonio Rudiger famously back-heeled the ball to Kepa, who nearly handled it before hesitating, illustrating the rule's psychological grip even decades later. 3. The 6-second, now 8-second rule. In 1997, IFAB introduced the 6-second rule to stamp out goalkeepers' time-wasting tactics. Any keeper holding the ball beyond 6 seconds would concede an indirect free kick to the opposition. Newly promoted teams like Blackburn Rovers and Bolton Wanderers protested, arguing the directive would penalise keepers simply taking caution against fierce pressing by opponents. Premier League referees were initially reluctant to enforce it, citing impossible precision in timing and fearing upset from influential clubs. Nevertheless, by the 2000s, keepers such as Edwin van der Sar and Pepe Reina routinely skirted the limit without consequence. A 2019 Bundesliga analysis of 45 matches revealed that goalkeepers exceeded 6 seconds nearly 40% of the time and were never penalised once. Fans and pundits dubbed it the invisible rule. In 2025, IFAB adjusted the law. The holding time extends to 8 seconds, and breaching it results in a corner kick instead of an indirect free kick. A visible countdown clock on the referee's wrist is also being trialled. Critics like former England keeper Paul Robinson argue this could turn minor hesitations into gift corners, particularly favouring aerially dominant teams like Liverpool and Villarreal. 4. The dropped ball procedure. Until 2019, a dropped ball meant any number of players could contest the restart, often resulting in heated scrums. In 2012, a melee at Stamford Bridge saw Chelsea and Swansea players jostle so fiercely that 3 staff members were booked for entering the pitch to break it up. Analytical teams reported increased injury risk. During the 2017-18 Premier League, 6 players suffered strains or knocks immediately after contested restarts. In response, IFAB overhauled the procedure. Now, if play stops inside the penalty area, the ball is dropped directly to the goalkeeper. Elsewhere, only 1 player from each side may fight for possession, with others required to stay at least 4 meters away. Manchester United's manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer called it overprotected, claiming opponents could deliberately force stoppages to gain cheap possession. Nonetheless, the update has reduced post-referee signal confrontations by over 70% in top European leagues, according to UEFA's 2024 safety report. 5th, the penalty double touch rule. Dating to the 1930s, the double touch rule forbids a penalty taker from touching the ball a second time until another player intervenes. The measure aimed to deter dribbling showmanship that could embarrass goalkeepers and belittle the penalty's seriousness. In the 1970 FA Cup final, Leeds United's Mick Jones tried to roll the ball slightly forward after his spot kick hit the bar and saw the retake awarded to the keeper after a furious complaint by the opposing defence. Yet flair players periodically challenge this convention. In a 2013 Serie A match, Andrea Pirlo deftly tapped his penalty against AC Milan's keeper, ran around the keeper and slotted home, but the referee overturned the goal, handing Milan an indirect free kick. Lionel Messi too nearly pulled off a 2-touch stunner in a Barcelona friendly in 2019, only to abandon the ploy at the last second for fear of disqualification. Critics argue the rule punishes creativity, but defenders and traditionalists welcome its clarity. No grey areas, no debates over intent. Offside's microscopic margins, the back pass curfew, the keeper's countdown, the sanitized dropped ball, and the penalty's double touch all were introduced to make football fairer, faster, or safer, yet each remains an odd relic, confusing players, managers, and fans alike. Perhaps that's part of football's enduring magic. Its imperfections and paradoxes ensure that every 90 minutes, the beautiful game surprises us with its endless capacity for debate, drama, and sheer unpredictability. Thanks for watching. If you learned something new, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more.